back to my channel. I'm Poppy Webber, and today I'm going to buy one of those saddles that I tell you not to buy. You know the ones I mean, the really crap ones. They're like £200, £300, £400 for a new leather saddle. Now I'm going to show you why that is impossible to do. It is impossible to buy a decent new leather saddle for less than about £700–800. Obviously there's a caveat there. You might be able to get a lucky bargain or something half price. So today we're going to have a little browse on eBay. We're going to find a saddle to buy. We're going to have a look at all the reasons why they're not very good, have a look at some things to look out for, some things to avoid, and we're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, find ourselves a saddle, buy it, get it shipped here, and then we can take it apart in the next few days and have a look at what's inside, so I can hopefully prove to you why you should not be putting them on your horse's back, and you're much better off buying a decent second-hand saddle fitted by your saddle fitter than you are going on eBay and buying one of those cheap bleh ones. Okay, so sit back, make yourself a cup of tea, let's get on eBay. So here we are on eBay. I've put saddle leather into there and we've looked through equestrian saddles, and these are the results we've got. So if we look here, I've clicked for just new. So if we look here, we've got 1,500 new saddles, and the price limit I've set is between 45, just to rule out girths and stuff that people have put in by mistake, 45 to £400. So there are more than 1,500 saddles new for less than £400 on eBay. So let's have a look at them. So number one, this top one here, $59.99 for a new saddle. Can it be any good for that price? Let's find out. Hey, if you buy two of these bad boys, you can get them for $56.99. So when you look at this saddle, first of all, you look at the panels. So you want your saddle to be as even as you can on your horse's back. So this is a brand new saddle, never been on a horse's back. It's going to be the most even it's ever been in its whole life. Now, look here. This panel is that deep. This panel is that deep. You've got so much more depth on this panel here than you have on this panel here. So this is called the rear gusset. So look at that rear gusset versus that rear gusset. So already, as soon as you sit the saddle on a horse, you're going to be tipping this way to the left. Your left seat bone is going to be lower than your right seat bone. Can you see that? And then just look at the general kind of finish here. This. The puckering of the leather, the badly finished ends here. If the manufacturer has put that much thought into finishing the bits that you can see, then how much has gone into seeing the bits that you can't see? Which is why we're going to get one of these saddles and take it to pieces so that you can see what's going on inside. So that's quite a good demonstration for £60 what you can get. Yes, it's a saddle, and to some people it might look like any other saddle, but actually when you start to look a little bit closer, you can see uneven panels already, lumpy bumpy panels. You know, that flocking is lumpy there already, bit puckered up, badly finished. What's going on inside, I wonder? These stitches here, these stitches are quite structural to your saddle and will hold your saddle together. They look a bit crap. Again, that's very badly finished there. Right, let's move on to the next one. That looks similar. What's this one? So again, look at these. This hasn't got a front gusset, but where the front gusset would be, this panel here, the creases already. That's not been on a horse. That's not flattened down at all, and already it's creased. So imagine, you know, as saddle fitters, we spend an awful lot of time trying to make flocking not lumpy, but the actual material of the saddle is lumpy bumpy there. This is an extra wide cob saddle, it's claimed to be. Have you ever seen a cob that's that narrow through there? Have you ever seen a cob that requires that depth of panel? It's so overstuffed, that's just going to roll about. And then again, crease, 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 crease. Now what I've done is I've only given you half the screen here, so we haven't got the right hand side of the screen, and that's because whilst I want you to see what saddles are not good for your horse, we don't need to be sort of naming and shaming any sellers. To be fair, they're not the manufacturers. These saddles are all manufactured abroad, but they are resellers, and we don't want to be bad-mouthing other people because that's just not fair. But we can still educate ourselves on what we're looking for in a saddle. So this one here is classed as a flex saddle. It claims further down in the gump, I won't click on it because it will show you the seller's name, but it claims down there that it's self-adjusting, adjusts to the horse. So one thing that I think about these saddles, when so I can spot an Indian made or a foreign made saddle a bazillion miles away. One of the dead giveaways is the stitching through here around the welting. So this is the welting. There's a little strip of leather, sometimes patent, sometimes funky colours on some saddles around here. If you look at the stitching around it, where the leather's pulled in, you can see that's a really good sign that the leather being used isn't very good and the workmanship isn't good. I often think as well on these that the head nail here, which is usually the maker's badge, but it's not got a maker's badge on it, they always look a little bit set further forward on these saddles than on a normal saddle. So this one here has had what looks like an aftermarket bit of leather riveted on, stamped on as a leather keeper. Again, you can see what I mean about the sort of the finish around here. And again, the finish through here and through here. And so, like I said in the previous saddle, if this level of finish is going into the outside, what's going on the inside? Like this stirrup bar here would not conform to any British safety standards. No way, Jose. You can see it's not even made out of the correct metal. That looks flimsy. I bet if you were to put your fingers behind that and give it a good wriggle, it would move. We don't want movement in a stirrup bar, do we? It's not riveted on properly. It's not the correct number of rivets. Oh dear God. So here's the panel. So this is the bit that you're putting onto your horse's back. Your horse that you love and that you have the chiropractor for and the physio for, and you brush him and groom him and kiss him on his nose, and you love him. And you want the surface between you and him, when you're on board, you want to make him as comfortable as he can be so that he works well for you. So this is perhaps not what you want. First of all, what on earth is going on through there? No idea. Now these panels, where do we start? Lumpy bumpy, we can see they're full of lumps already. Never been on a horse. This is a brand new saddle. It is full of lumps. So it's because the panel leather, the leather that's used to make the panel is the wrong leather. It looks like the flocking is bad. It's being crammed in. This will cause, I could pick you out on a bazillion pressure points here. There's loads of pressure points. And then when you look through here, this is where your horse's spine sits. Have you ever seen a horse with a spine that narrow? No, me neither. And I've seen a lot of horses. That is a very narrow there. So when your horse's spine sits through here, these panels are going to squeeze it and pinch it. So you want your horse to be able to move his back and lift his back and turn corners and flex his ribs. How is he going to do that when his spine is being clamped between that? Now, let's move on to the panels themselves. This panel here ends here. This panel here ends, quite a lot further up. So the panels again are wonky. As soon as you put this onto a horse, you're going to be sitting unevenly. Your weight is going to just be distributed via these lumpy bumpy panels in an uneven fashion because they are not the same shape or size. And then through here, look again, these creases. Never been on a horse. Lumps and creases. So yes, that's that one. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, here we go. Cob one. Here we go, cob. It's a cob event saddle, this one. Right, first of all, one of the first things that jumps out, other than that random block stuck on, is, can we see this white stuff here? These girth straps are stuck onto, well, sewn onto hopefully, a piece of cotton. This is not proper webbing, this is cotton. Cotton degrades and cotton snaps. This is not what your girth strap should be attached to. Ever. ever, ever, ever. Also, when you look closely, you can see that they're all attached to the same bit of this cotton webbing. So if the webbing was to give way or break, all of your girth straps would come off. Your girth strap should be attached to at least 2 separate bits of webbing. So which is why you often see the first 2 are attached to one and then the third one attached to another. So you can use that one and that one, or that one and that one. And then if the webbing itself breaks, you've still got the other strap holding you on temporarily. So number 1, don't buy anything with cotton webbing like that. They're not safe at all, ever. Stirrup bar, not enough rivets on it for it to pass the BSI safety thing, BSS, British Safety Standard. You can see it's not the correct metal. You can see it's quite flimsy and badly finished through here. So these are called quilt stitches. You sometimes see quilt stitches going up here to help with big shoulders. This is slightly unusual. Would obviously cause lumps and bumps. Panel here, uneven. Knee blocks seem to be stuck on. It did say cob saddle, didn't it? But it's not got a cob shape through the tree at all. Bumpy panel. Yeah, cob. Oh, I just saw a couple of ones underneath this, it looks good. Okay, so again, just doesn't look very nicely made. Head nail a little bit further forward than you'd expect to see. This one has a little bit of leather on there around it. I've been to saddles like this that have had their maker's badge has been like made out of paper and sellotape. Oh, there we go. That was well timed. Literally, look, a bit of paper sellotaped on. If your saddle's maker's badge is made out of paper, walk away. It's not a good sign. Again, we look at these stirrup bars. They don't look like they'd pass any safety standards. They don't look like they're correct metal. All these things you need to look out for. You want your stirrup bars are holding you on your saddle. You want them to be solid and you want them to be safe. So when you're looking at saddles on the internet, that's definitely something to look for. Again, all of the girth straps are coming off the one bit of webbing. I say webbing, this looks a little bit more cottony than you'd want it to be. You really want the webbing that your girth straps are attached to look a little bit like seat belts. So it's nylon webbing, so very strong. Think how strong your seat belts are. You want your girth straps to be strong, attached to something strong, and needs to be separate. So, because what you don't want is that to break. Actually, look, that's what's called a point pocket there. Another example of just cheap panels, yeah? So you can see this one's kind of shorter and fatter, then this one is kind of longer and thinner. Again, as soon as you put it on your horse's back, you're going to be sitting unevenly. Lumps and bumps. Lumps and bumps. Right, let's move on to the next one because I just saw a wicked one. Here we go. £69 you can buy this beauty for. That there is not always, but usually a sign of a broken tree. I'm not sure I've ever seen a tree that shape. These ones, you know, really overflocked, really kind of lumpy. You can see this one here is quite flat, like that. This one here is quite rounded. More flocking in there than in there. So instantly you're going to be sitting to the right on this saddle. Cotton instead of webbing. Again, that red and black one's a dead giveaway. I presume probably they're all on the same one as well. Girth straps aren't even finished. I was even thought a bit of dye around the edges. And also the webbing backed, which is a sure sign of cheap ones. Yeah. The most worrying thing about this saddle is that. But when looking for saddles on the internet, the seat creasing is something to be really aware of. It's often you get seat creasing around here that doesn't mean the tree's broken. Sometimes people, like if your seat leather is quite soft and you always ride in sticky bum joppers, you can sort of crease the seat with your joppers. So obviously get it checked out by a saddle fitter. But yeah, that can be that can certainly be a sign of problems. There we go. So we've had a look through eBay. We've seen some of those saddles I was talking about. We've had a look at some reasons why we shouldn't be buying them. So now I'm going to buy one. Obviously, we're going to get it delivered here. I'm going to open it up. We're going to have a look inside and we're going to see whether they are saddles that you should or shouldn't be putting on your horse's back. I think I already know the answer. Do you? Stay tuned for the next instalment, and until then, take care and keep smiling.